Carry that.
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Notice of this meeting has been provided to the public in accordance with the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act and by publication in the New Jersey Times or South Jersey Times and the Elmer Times newspaper circulated in Salem County, and by posting a notice in the Salem County Clerk's office and the SCIA offices. Copies of the board minutes and a video of this meeting will be posted on the authority website. Please join me in the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Susan Beswick.
Here.
Ronald Howard. Louis Schneider. Peter Borhos.
Here.
Robert Whitfield.
Here. And Lou is working and can't make tonight's meeting, and I think Ron will probably be here a little later. And tab one, we have the minutes of the June 12th meeting. The novelette. The novelette, 15 pages.
Oh, yeah, that was a problem.
Good job. Yeah. I'll take a motion.
Move to adopt.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Tab 2, solid waste division, and managers reports.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm standing in for Melinda. I'm Lodi Van Conger. The customer aging pool waste recycling paid and is now in the 91 to 120 day category with a balance of $5,740.38. On the horizontal expansion, tab 4.4, we can no longer accept tractor trailers. It's just too tight up there. In the next couple of weeks also we will look into come over the top of cell 7 and push down the hill.
And then they can take the tractor trailers?
I'm not sure on that. It's tight. It's tight even up top. We'll have to look once we get there and see how we can manage that. But once we get up there and actually see how we operate, we might be able to, but I cannot guarantee that. But it's not tractor trailers, there's not that many.
It's only one customer.
It's only one customer now, really, that's coming in a tractor trailer, so not that big an issue.
A small amount that the tractor trailer brings in, or are they going to come in?
It's a construction,
Yeah.
so it weighs,
As it comes, but it's not real regular. Equipment repairs, well, stainless steel valve was done yesterday. It's complete.
You got the flange?
Yeah, the flange. We got the flange and it's all complete, so yesterday.
Good.
2 days.
And then point number 8, events, household hazardous waste collection day was held in Central on Saturday, June 21st. 58 residents with 3,560 tons taken for the event. The next event will be on August 16, which will be at the Upper Pittsgrove Convenience Center on 190 Grove Street. The Salem County Fair is coming up in the first week of August, and SCIA will have a booth there. And new job positions. We have a summer intern that will start on July 14th for 11 weeks. And that's what it is.
I have 2 questions real quick. OM manual, or O&M manual. What is it?
Operations and maintenance.
Okay, is that requested by, is that something that we do every year, or is that requested by the engineer?
It is actually something that we're required to have at the time we open the landfill, and then it needs to be updated. The updates usually occur when you renew your solid waste permits,
Okay.
or when there's a major change of operation.
because I saw that there was a letter in there that it was Lime who was requesting that this be done now, or they?
DEP has
has-
requested it,
okay.
and the Limo has said, yes, it is in the process of being updated or
And-
submitted.
And burning question, did the inspector come as of July 7th? You were expecting our landfill inspector?
You know, we've been ready for him all week.
Oh, you hasn't come, okay. That's why you're in a good mood then, is that what it
You're ready
is?
for all the
No,
time.
You can come any day you wish. I'm always ready for you.
Good answer.
And the leachate on the chart is down because you were storing it in the new tank? Is that it?
And there's not that much leachate coming out because it's dry. It's not.
And this has probably been that way forever, but on the tons and dollars, cover material, where's the tons?
Yeah, I had a question like, what is this? But that was
It's
one.
tonnage.
Well, it's how much we pay for cover material and how much we bring in that's free. This one,
Into that.
I mean, I don't know why we need tons.
Yeah, yeah, she's looking at
We just need to change the name of the report. Yeah.
Is there
There's
anything,
only been one.
anything more on the solid waste division manager's report? Hearing none, I'll have it received and filed. Engineers report?
Do have the engineer's report from the landowner. They've indicated, we did have a meeting with them, that they are working on the permit, solid waste permit renewal. It's due in January of 2015, however, it'll be filed in October. Our goal is to have the minor modification for the laydown area done before that permit
Okay.
renews.
So he is working on it, like, I didn't get that he was working on it in the text.
Yeah. These also identify the minor modification, and the operations manual, that's where it's mentioned.
That's where I
Are
saw
there any
it.
other modifications we could see that should be filed now?
Not the present time for the solid waste permit,
We have the downing area that can be
the
taken care of.
downing area and the other material laydown area where the tire chips are, and the soil, the daily soil. Both of those will be called out in the report. We'll also start working on our stormwater permit renewal. We did receive a letter from the DEP about that. It was actually filed last year. It's been sitting up on the permit writer's desk, who issued a draft permit and apparently left and never finished the permit. So the new guys picked up. We've been in touch with the new person. He'll be taking it from here and finalizing that permit.
Whatever happened to the DEP proposal? I knew it from 5 or 6 years ago that they were going to have one permit per site and it was going to be an umbrella
Master
permit.
I think they learned a little bit when they did Title V air permitting, that that's a little more onerous than they really could do. And Title V is a good example of that. We also have greenhouse gas reporting that was done for 2013 by TNM, for the first quarter 2014 by Reno. They are all registered by the EPA system. He's ready to pull the trigger and submit the reports that way. And we did have Valema work on the water diversion project for some.
That's the clear water, the stormwater
Clean water.
diversion.
Clean water diversion.
I have two quick questions. The permit that was issued with the city of Salem, the wastewater, with their wastewater treatment plant, it's not being utilized. Is there a reason why?
We weren't using it until we finished completion and construction of the second leachate tank. And now that the flange and the stainless steel is in, the first leachate tank will go back to normal operation. We will have a meeting with the city to determine whether or not we will continue to pursue that project.
And you have to do some testing, which you sent the
Testing has
sample
been,
out.
yes.
The only other question that I have is, kind of filtered throughout this whole, or peppered throughout the engineer's report, there's a lot of mention of, this is T&M, this is Alimo. Are they all aware who's doing what
Yes.
and all of that?
So
Okay.
bright line test of December 31st, 2013, that's TNM. January 1st, 2014 is Lima. with the exception of 2 construction projects that are ongoing.
All right, but they are aware,
Mhm.
okay, and they talk to each other all the time, I suppose.
Anything more on the engineer's report? Hearing none, I'll have the report received and filed. Have a resolution to pay the solid waste division bills. So we pay your, there's some numbers in there. The bills total $475,061.70 for regular payment. And the bills amount to $51,643.89 for electronic payment. And $1,102,857.23 for manual check.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm sorry, resolution number?
67. And who made the first motion?
Ron.
Okay.
Economic Development Division. Have a resolution to. Talk about that? Anything about it? Okay.
No, it's, basically it's the end of billing for expense reimbursement for myself, Mr. Smith, and his cell phone, Guardian, which is the disability for the prior month, and South Jersey Economic Development Council's membership.
Okay, the resolution to pay the bills for the Economic Development Division total $866.44 and no manual or electronic checks.
Motion approved.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And we have, there was a SCIA Economic Development meeting in Denver.
That we attended.
Board member Bestwick has agreed to be the liaison to the council.
Unless anyone else would like to be.
So we have an update on that too. Mr. Miller contacted me today. We are getting together on Monday of next week.
Okay, no action for the nursing home.
None.
Tab 5, standing committee reports. Now, I may have them out of order, but I have personnel committee. Oh, no, executive
We
committee.
don't have to-
Okay, executive committee.
We've met a couple of times this month. We are working through the economic development transition. Have not seen any problems at this point, and we will continue to move anything that needs to be moved. I know that the Salem County website has been updated, and I spoke to Green Technologies today, and they just have to provide you with a link.
They did.
Oh, they already did that?
They're meeting Monday.
This afternoon.
Okay.
Meeting with them Monday, is that, or that's?
No, not Green Technologies. We're meeting with them.
And if you go to the county, website and you click on departments, it comes up economic development, and you'll see that there's updated information there. And, we'll have the same. I think the only question, Dale sent me actually left me a voicemail, that if there is anything specific that you want placed for economic development on the county site, just to let them
That's
know.
what we're doing.
That's what you're doing.
Very specific targets.
Okay.
That they're going to need to.
And as far, as the Alloway Township Host Community Agreement, we are going to move as planned and start to do, start to work on some negotiations as soon as we see what our numbers look like in September,
Probably start talking late August.
late August. Sorry.
I'll expect a economic development report from the freeholders every month in writing. Is that in the plans?
No, I don't know why we would. I mean, I think that anything.
We're passing that on.
Yeah, I
But we're
think,
still taking care of the bonding.
Yeah.
So we would need a monthly report to
No,
qualify for the state on things that are being done through the improvement authority.
No, I wouldn't expect that.
I mean, we're gonna have, first of all, I'm the liaison to them. If there's anything certainly that the Improvement Authority needs to know, do, we will absolutely do that. As far as requesting information from the Freeholder Board, that, they do economic development now and we don't request that now. But, you know, anything that involves us, you know, they're gonna let us know and we're gonna let them know. If we have any connections that we need to let them know about economic
It's
development.
important that it's done in writing,
I'm not sure I understand.
so it can be documented, especially when dealing with any bonding or loans that we're gonna be dealing with.
The bonding is done with us. So anything that we have ever done with any of that is done with the Improvement Authority. And honestly, the freeholders don't really have anything to do with that. That's the whole purpose of the Improvement Authority, is because we're the bonding agent. So if anything, we would be giving them a report.
Well, actually, it means the economic development is closed down here, they're gonna be contacting the county.
Well, it's just transferred to the county, that's
Right.
that's fine.
So we're gonna, you know, look at
For the county, it's not
so
closed down,
nothing gets, so the ball doesn't get dropped.
the office has changed.
We will make sure that it doesn't, for sure. Point taken.
And writing.
I'm not gonna ask the freeholders to write us a report on their economic development. I mean, you're gonna get, as far as I'm concerned, we'll probably get minutes because we'll be part of the Economic Development Council. And any of those minutes, I'll make sure that we have here.
Okay, Personnel Committee, Mr. Howard.
Just, we let go of one of our, well, it wasn't really hard, our equipment operators was on a 90 period. He failed to meet up to his obligations. And right now, we still need one, but we have on-site employee that is going to take that test for his LD license. So if he passes, we'll probably just move him on up.
Good.
Like I said, we have our seasonal employees in place, and we finally did receive quite a few applications for the bookkeeping, and HR is in the process of looking them up right now. If I have another update on that at the next meeting. For our policy and procedures, we did finish them up. Probably get with you to see if you had any other changes on them. They went pretty good. And safety program meeting, it's going very well out there. I understand a lot of employees are taking part in it now, which is good. And employees, meetings on their pension and health benefits, they're going to have that meeting around July 16th. More that they go to changes that's coming about on that.
Pension contributions change July 1st. State health benefit rates change.
July 1st.
First page.
Oh, first pay,
First pay.
whatever that.
Any question on personnel? Thank you, Mr. Howard. Solid waste.
We have the wrapping up of the leachate tank and just getting started on the cell. And we're gonna have some change orders that we're discussing later on to go on. That's the most important thing we get done, to keep everything rolling smooth.
Any questions on solid waste committee? Innovation and technology, there was a meeting.
No, but I did get communication from Lou and from, at least, making contact from the college, July 30th or 31st. It's looking like from the meeting with them over their voice over IP system.
Okay, without objection, I'll have the committee reports received and filed. Hearing none, so moved. Executive director. Tab 6.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tab 6 contains my report, which you received. A couple of notations. As noted, there is no formal action necessary for the nursing home. We have received a retiree medical benefit payment for June. We are anticipating payment for July. Payment has not been received from the Improvement Authority for the SCIANJ claim, although I did talk to the CFO. She had thought it was processed in her absence and is in the process of taking care of that for us. Daily operations, you heard the report from solid waste. Just a couple of other points to note that Louis and his team are working pretty expeditiously to work on grading the side slopes of cells 1 through 7. Due to the undulation, the inspector would like to see that a pretty smooth surface. So the clay and material that we have stockpiled on site has been used to shore up those slopes. We talked about the horizontal expansion. I will advise the board, the contractor at this time does estimate that they are about a 2 to 3 week behind due to early rainfall in the early part of the project. They're not asking for a time extension at this point in time. Assuming favorable weather, they may be able to make it up. We do have 2 change orders that are before you this evening on cell number 9. The first deals with the clean water diversion. We looked at 3 alternatives for diverting that clean water around our new Hall Road and around what will eventually be cell number 11 and 12. The best option is before you. It's an $88,000 change order, mostly due to the cost of the HDPE piping and the stormwater manholes that will be needed. We are going to swale as much of the water as we possibly can before actually collecting it, but we do not want that water to infiltrate into our basin. We do have to test our basin, and because some of it is runoff from, some is wooded areas, but some of it is a farming area, we can't have that in our basin. The second change order, for anybody that's been out to see cell number 9, which just took a little bit this evening, we have a porcupine base to cell number 9 right now to the vegetation and the rooting that is still there after all the compaction that has occurred. We evaluated with the contractor and both engineers 5 different options on what we could do with that. Running through the options, the first one would be just basically fill 6 more inches of clay material into that cell. We can't assure that just 6 inches of new material would take care of the problem, and we would lose that 6 inches of airspace, which is a design for the landfill. The second option is to dig down 6 inches of additional material, deroot that material should there be any remaining, and then replace that with 6 inches of the compacted I-13 material. That's the option that's being recommended by everyone, myself, our solid waste division, staff, and our engineers included. The other options that were there included placing a 8mm or a 12mm additional geotextile layer over top of the material that's there, after hand removing it. We do not have the comfort level that that's going to provide the adequate protection that we need against vegetation material. So the change order that's before you is a total of a $97,000 change order. We did build in the need, or possibility for the need, to hand remove and deroot anything after we remove that 6 inches. We are hoping we do not need to do that, but it is in there. We also have told the engineer and the contractor that we will be taking the $17,500 credit, which is built into the contract, as a credit against that. We put in a unit price of $17,500 in anticipation of having to cut out small areas of the cell. We did not anticipate having to do the entire cell. The NJDEP Title V administrative consent order that's been signed, sealed, sent back to the DEP. We all have copies on file. 90 of the 1,400 or 1,040 light bulbs have been handed out as part of the Household Hazardous Waste Day. I'm expecting the next shipment within the week, and we'll have everything that we need for the fair and the rest of the events. We did have an NJDEP permit inspection. Out of the 120 items that they inspected us for, 2 items do require some additional documentation. That is our Sound City demonstration project, where they wanted additional results that for whatever reason weren't submitted to them, and the updated O&M manual is required to include a notation as to what will happen if our basins fail. So we're in the process of updating that. You received an update from Economic Development. The only additional items that I am personally working on relative to this transition is I'm working with the Division of Archives and Records Management at the request of the county to deal with their request for transferring records over to the county. We're 2 different records custodians. A lot of the documents we have electronically can easily be shared copies of, some hard copy ones. We would physically have to have the state absolve us from being the records custodian in order to turn them over. So I'm working with them, and I've been asked to update the mission statement for the San County Improvement Authority to modify that post this economic development change.
I don't understand why, if we are, they're public records that are maintained by us, why do we have to get the state's authorization to release them? I don't remember seeing that in
We're different
the Public Records Act.
public entities.
Uh-huh.
Just as when we had the nursing home transferred over to us, we could become an automatic records custodian of any records that occurred prior to the transfer date. We could have copies of them, but we could not obtain those copies. They treat us not as a department of the county, but as a separate organization, just as if we were giving it to Gloucester County.
So when we get a request for records, do we kick it back and say we're not the custodian?
Right now, we are the custodian. But
Okay.
In the past, what we did, like for the nursing home,
Mhm.
if it was something that occurred before August of 2008, the
Mhm.
custodian is the county,
Okay.
and the Oprah request
So
goes
we
to the
just,
county.
okay, so we just refer it back and say you have to go to this person. Okay, understood.
On other county matters, we did receive, we're in the process of receiving the county audit so that we can provide that to the trustee for the bond compliance. We will be starting the budget for 2015 next week with our internal staff, with an anticipation that we'll do a work session that the board's scheduling sometime in August, with introduction in September and adoption hopefully in October. Nothing new to report on our audit, everything's going well. The IRS, we did receive a refund for 2013, and we have received correspondence from them that they're continuing to work on a request for a refund for 2010. Other than that, you have a series of upcoming meeting events at the end, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
What about, you have a meeting on Monday? Of our station?
Yes.
Any discussion on that? I see it's in your solid waste section.
I believe the board has been fully apprised of everything that I know at this point in time, which was the road had been ordered to be closed. I did speak with the mayor, and we're meeting their public works manager out at the site on Monday morning.
Has anybody from Alloway contacted you or anybody in SCIA before they close the road about a problem, potential problem?
I contacted the mayor after the road was closed.
But the answer is no, nobody contacted?
As I understand from talking to Melinda, the public works manager had spoken to her.
And what was his issue?
They requested that the road be actively maintained during the course of the construction project and not just backgraded on Fridays as the contractors do.
And what kind of maintenance are we talking about? It is a dirt
Why we're
road.
going out there Monday, so
Oh,
we
you'll
can
be
actually
able to
put our
find
eyes on the ground and our feet on the ground and see what everybody's talking about.
Because I've been down that road and I've not noticed anything that's going to cause a hazard. And I think it's kind of childish that you park your lawnmower across it, so nobody get out there. And they might want to consult their attorney, because if somebody runs into that at nighttime, if it isn't properly reflected and combed off and signed off, they could get a big lawsuit. Not very smart.
Okay, anything else on economic or executive director's report?
Yeah, but that's maybe date when they're gonna send that check to us.
Katie did say this week, it did not arrive today, so last month.
He was off on maternity leave and thought it was time when she was off. Okay, I'll have the executive director's report received and filed. Hearing none, so received and filed. New business. Try to keep you in order of the agenda because mine may be shuffled. Resolution authorizing change order number 2 for the landfill expansion cell 9. Okay.
This is the clean water diversion.
Right.
Is that number 3? Change order number 3?
Change order number 2.
Okay. Maybe they're out of order. They were 15.
Oh, yeah, that's, because it's the first, yeah.
Change order number 2 in the amount of $88,870.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Wait a second.
Change order 2. And then change order 2.
Yeah, see, we have 3 first, and then, so that's all, but I'm just looking for 88,000, that's all.
It's at the bottom, under tab number 1.
Ah, all right.
You ever see what I have? So this is the-
Change
this
order
is
number
change order
3.
diversion.
Change orders version.
This says change order number 3, is what it says in my title.
Yeah.
So is yours.
All right, wait.
Yours says 2. I don't see the 2.
This is,
It says 2, 2. I have another number 3.
2, 3. See, I have 2 3s.
Another 3. for the tank.
You should have one change order number 2 and one change order number 3.
Okay, we don't have that.
Yeah, you want one, so.
No,
Okay.
I have the old two. I haven't-
And then it has the support
Was
document.
there anything different
On
on that
2,
one?
no, there was on number 3.
Yeah, okay, see if she pushed it over, if it was, if she said she was gonna replace it, but she just put 2
Two
threes.
didn't get replaced. Three
Okay.
got replaced.
Okay.
We're good.
We have a motion and a second, I believe.
Yes.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
You can keep it.
Probably in
I
the
have this now.
file here, we'll take it out.
And then number 3.
Next one, resolution authorizing change order number 3 for landfill expansion. I think we have number 3. I don't know.
So excited.
This one was changed
This has been updated,
late.
yes.
late.
There's been, the first one that you got in your packet was a draft, because it only contained 4 out of the 5 alternatives that we had evaluated. As of yesterday afternoon, as we were talking with the contractor and the engineer, this
This
is
is
where
the
we
stump
decided to
removal.
add the stump removal, yeah. So this change order is in the amount of $94,925 with a $17,500 credit for a total change order in the amount of $77,425.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Yeah.
If anybody wants pictures, I think it's these guys.
Resolution authorizing change order number 3, another change order number 3 for the leach field.
Oh,
This is a change order in the amount of $5,264.17 for the fresh aggregate that was needed under the loadout pad.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Any discussion? Is this was, they moved the location of the driveway from what the original plan showed, I guess, because the original plans would have had a coring and they would have known that
Actually,
had been
this
unsuitable.
was where the loadout pad is. This is not what was moved. The road around was moved. This was because the soil was so moist and it could not be adequately compacted before they placed the concrete there.
So they didn't know what was there before they
We
started.
knew it was clay. We didn't think we'd have such a problem dewatering the clay, and it was just basically laying.
So we have motion second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And yes, correspondence.
We did put one item, the documentation, the memo, the very last item in tab number 8, before correspondence, which was about to do cleanup on Rushville Road.
Right.
The memo was received in my office yesterday, and
this-
placed it on the agenda for tonight.
Give them out of the township.
Yeah.
Friends of ours. Need some help.
Oh, they are.
Not know,
And you
Mr. Chairman,
sent
everybody
you sent an email,
have an update to,
About-
yep, the email,
yes, you sent an email about what we've done in the past.
yeah.
Was that today? I did not see it today.
We just got it today. I spoke to Sean Henderson of the County Department of Health, because they're involved in the project as well. And Melinda, Sean, and officials from Elway Township have been communicating back and forth relative to the illegal dumping on that property.
It's on Welch.
Welchville Road, right, 540.
Yes.
It's literally right after you go over the railroad tracks. The first house is the house, it's the second property, the second driveway.
Is that on our wetlands area or the other side?
It's on the same side of our wetlands area, it's not our property. There had been some discussion back and forth about using Clean Communities money both at the county level and also at the local level to fund half of it from the municipality, half of it from the Stan County Improvement Authority. There had not been, according to Sean and my text from Melinda, discussion about waiving tipping fees during the cleanup. That is something that's typically not done on private property. On public property, it's a different situation. He also indicated that the investigation into that matter to determine who may have dumped that material is still ongoing in their office. Obviously, as materials removed, they're going to continue to look for any identification, any addresses, any names of things that might be on that property that they can go back to that person with. But as I understand, there's a private property owner. It is a abandoned property. There's no one that lives there. Looking at recent history regarding debris cleanup, and I'm talking recent history, I can't talk about years gone by. We've been involved in a few, some on private property and some on public property. We do treat those very differently. Those that are on private property usually have an owner interest in the lands, and in those instances, county, health department, municipality officials, whether it be housing, zoning official, public works, clean communities coordinators are involved in that cleanup process because they have the enforcement powers and the local ordinances behind them. Private property, we're currently involved in a few, meaning 2 tire dump cleanup projects currently ongoing on private lands. In those instances, the property owner is under an agreement with the Department of Health to dispose of a certain number of tires every month at our facility. They are charged normal tipping fees for those tire disposals. We were also involved in cleanup on a cemetery and a Beagle Club property in the last 2 years. Those do have a private landowner interest, both of which were nonprofit organizations. And those properties were cleaned up as part of the Municipal Clean Communities program by the volunteers. The agreement on this project was made in advance. In those instances, SCIA did charge normal tipping fees for the debris removal, and then we reimbursed those costs through the county clean communities. They spent their local money, and we spent county money. On several other private property cleanup projects across the county, local municipalities have performed cleanups using local clean communities programs or municipal public works employees. Normal tipping fees were charged for the disposal, and tax liens were placed against the property by the municipality. That's something usually a zoning official will do. The reason they do that is when the property transfers and or when the tax are sold on that, eventually there will be a recoupment of those costs. Also, within the last year, the Sam City Building Demolition Project for this board grant-funded program, which is funded by the state for removal of structures on private lands that the city is in the process of seizing. They did request a discounted tipping fee for the project, and this board took the action not to reduce any tipping fees. We are currently collecting standard tipping fees for that removal. And then in Alloway Township, one house was demolished that was located on public lands about 3 years ago. That was at the lake where it was being the lake was being restored. They did ask for the tipping fees waived at that project, and this board did approve the tipping fees be waived on that project because it was on public lands. So that's kind of the history of what we've done in the past.
Okay.
We got some history.
That's all the history you need to know, I guess.
Has this property been cleaned before? Has this property had to be cleaned before? Does anybody know?
Not
No,
that
this
I'm
is a
aware of.
new dump site. Amazing how they can find that stuff.
Well, what's the option? What does clean communities do? They can have it cleaned up with a group cleaning it up and get reimbursed for that? Is that the way it works?
They'll either use Clean Communities volunteers, or they will use Clean Communities monies to fund costs that may be associated with it. For instance, I'm familiar with one that we did in Pittsburgh Township. Those, it was not done by volunteers, it was done by the Public Works Department with 3 employees. Those costs were recorded based on their voted hourly rate with their benefits. And then the Clean Communities grant was reimbursing their salaries for that project.
What's the total value of that?
That was a $10,000 project. And we did end up placing a lien against that property for that, so that the grant funds did come back to the board.
Debbie, do we administer the grant funds for clean communities?
We administer the county grant funds, the municipalities administer their local.
Okay, so do we have any money in clean communities?
We do, because, well, very nicely, because those checks have been significantly delayed in the last couple of years. They used to get them in March and be spent down by June and July. We typically don't receive the checks now. I think the county clerk just got it about 3 weeks ago, so it just came in.
How much is it for?
I would have to get back with you on that, just to verify. It changes every year.
I'd like to make a motion that we participate with Alloway Township to get this cleaned up half-east, and that we put a lien on the property to recover the money that we spend there, and that they open the road over here immediately.
All in one motion.
Yep. Keep it simple. Always gotta try to keep good neighbors.
Questions, can I ask a question to the mayor?
Mayor's over here.
Have we received any kind of taxes on that property in the last 5, 10 years, or?
Yeah, I've been in contact with the property owner there twice since we received some of his email. And, he's willing to accept any help we can give him. You know, I'll be honest with you, he didn't put that trash there. And we would like to see the people prosecuted that did. However, am I free to comment?
Sure.
I have some pictures.
Mr. Chairman, really, we should have a second on the motion before we have any discussion. Or a new motion.
I was trying to get some information.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
You can't have the information until you second.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Discussion? Okay. We took, we've got some pictures here. You're welcome to look at them, pass them around, and I'll tell you what's going on. We received various emails from Mr. Henderson, the health department, along with Melinda from your office. And Melinda evidently at one point, I mean, this is hearsay, but what I'm seeing over there kind of goes along with it, must have directed someone, she suggested railroad ties be put across the property to keep people from dumping there. So when I went to look at the place, there were railroad ties there. So with the emails that she sent asking Alloway to split the cost of cleaning it up with Salem County Utilities Authority, and the fact that the railroad ties are there, it makes me believe that Salem County Utilities Authority must be accepting some form of responsibility for this.
No.
I don't see that connection.
You don't see that?
No.
I mean, you're going out there putting railroad ties up across private property, and you're asking us to pay for half of the cleanup, and you're going to pay for half of the cleanup.
Yes, we put it
You put them?
to stop.
Now, just follow me a little bit. In talking with our zoning official and Ms. Sullivan,
Clean Communities, Alloway Township.
yeah, we try to come up with how's the right way to treat this gentleman who lives feet from your border, literally feet. And it was mentioned that that dump site probably wouldn't be there if this dump wasn't here.
Why is that? We have them in Pittsgrove. People do this.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
It happens all over.
Okay.
People trying to avoid the tipping fee.
Along with all the trash we clean up around Mauer Station Road where people get frustrated and throw it out. And it happens by our convenience center too, so it's not, you know, this isn't the only place, but we have 2 dumps here. This one and our convenience center. This is never going to go away. So we just felt like, let's take the lead on this, help our taxpayer out, whom is a victim in this. He's put deer cameras up. His neighbor put deer cameras up for him. He's an elderly gentleman. And the only people they saw going in and out of there were state police and people that work for different public works departments, health department looking at it. Took the cameras down to charge the battery. More trash showed up while the cameras are there. So in my conversation with him and asking him, how can we be of a help to you? He said, any help you can give me would be fine. So we just felt like we would try to get the ball rolling. And I contacted Sheriff Miller. He's more than happy to give us inmate labor to, and that helps everybody, if that works. And the only cost that is left is the tipping fees and the possibly the dumpsters of $124.50, which I think is.
So you have the dumpsters already?
Yeah, Red Oak will supply them for $124.50, which I think is more than fair. And what we were asking our good neighbors here was if you could take care of the financial end of it.
You mean split the cost?
No, you guys take care of the cost. That's our approach.
Yeah, I thought you said something about, you talked to Melinda and
No, Melinda was asking us to split the cost. And I just felt like, while we're emailing each other back and forth and deciding who's gonna clean it up, what's gonna clean it up, who's gonna investigate, I mean, all this, it's typical government. Let's just get it done.
I checked with our clean communities in Pittsburgh, see what happens on that, and she says they call the Sean Henderson, is that his name? And he comes out and digs through the file and finds a name and prosecutes.
Well, Mr. Henderson evidently led our zoning official to believe that he didn't have time. Now, I spoke with Mr. Henderson on the phone, I believe it was yesterday, told him what our proposal was, and he thought that was, I mean, he was okay with that. I'm not saying he thought it was a good idea or bad idea, but
Was he still pursuing the people that dumped it?
they haven't investigated anything. Our zoning official has an idea.
Because if we
But
put
we
it out,
have
if
no
someone
proof.
dumps it there, I have a couple of dumped roads, and if you clean up, people think that that's the place to dump.
Well, I think we can talk with the homeowner after this and
Get another
get some
deal
kind of thing across that, you know, put something across that driveway to keep people from being able to get in there. He can't visually see this part of his property from his house. He lives the next place down, but it's all wooded and he can't see in there. And that trash, most of that trash you can't see from the road.
What's the total cost we're talking about?
Yeah.
Best case scenario, $250, $251.
Two or three dumpsters from
Yeah,
they were
I looked at it, I
estimating.
thought maybe you could probably get it in 2 dumpsters. If it's 3, it's another $125. If the sheriff's department will, and Mr. Miller told me, Sheriff Miller told me just give him a day or two's notice and they'll
And
have
the township
to.
has a loader that can pick stuff up with, and
We have a loader, yeah.
And Sean did.
But we shouldn't, I don't know whether we're going to use that or not.
what
That
will,
would be, see, they can't operate equipment.
Mhm.
The inmates can't operate equipment, they would have to do it by hand.
I was wondering what the township was doing, whether you were supplying the loader for the people.
If needed, we would do that. That's why I put in there, the cost of 2 public works guys
Right.
for a full day. I don't think, that's worst case, and I don't think that would happen, I don't think that's needed.
And Sean did indicate today that they, at least told me that they still have an ongoing investigation open on this.
But what I meant was, they haven't been out there with gloves on, digging through it.
Yeah, he indicated to me that they would be doing that at the time that the material was being moved.
That would be wonderful.
So that,
That's the right time to do it.
no sense in moving it twice.
Now, just
Because
that-
there's every, well, you saw
well,
it.
yeah,
There's
you can
everything.
see, you can see the big TV from the road.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be able to find the name, it always happens, I think. On a
You'll
file
find
like that.
some, yeah. Usually people that do stuff like this aren't smart enough to.
And just to be clear, so what you're asking is
What's
for,
the motion? The motion is,
yeah, well, I'm basing what I see on the memo, okay? So you're asking for us to waive the tipping fees and to credit Alloway against monthly tipping fees for all costs incurred by the township for this project.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why, because we found out, through Ms. Sullivan, that we can't legally use our Clean Communities money for private property cleanup. It's only for public property cleanup. And we don't feel it's fair to the homeowner for him to have to pay for this cleanup. It just so happens he happened to own a piece of property they picked to dump it on.
But you can if you pursue a lien on the property in the intent of reimbursing the
Why would I want to lien my property owner's property?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I don't, I'm not for
well,
that.
are you having, is the building being torn down?
No,
That should have
no,
been
no,
demolished a while
this
ago.
doesn't include the building at all.
I
That's
know,
a
but-
whole different issue.
But that should have been gone.
Yeah, that's a whole different issue.
You know, derelict properties attract trash. Okay, we have a motion. Your motion is to assist with the payment
Half the
and
payment.
clear the Mowers Road.
Half,
And to leave the property.
I mean, So we can recover the money. Those plain communities won't give you the money unless you are seeking.
Well, can we get the money if the property is liened? I mean, it's still,
I don't know, because I haven't been asked to check on this, I don't know what authority the improvement authority has to lien.
You don't,
I know the township does, but I don't know whether the improvement authority has that
we never
authority.
made it that, we can't.
We're not leaning the property.
Are we gonna be able to recover the plain communities money we use on that?
well, let's deal with the motion that's up
Yeah,
and,
let's-
All right.
And
If
then
we
we'll
can't do
we'll
that,
try
so
to do this.
we have a motion to do something we can't do in a second. And, all in favor? Opposed? Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
okay.
Okay,
Aye.
you wanna try another
Another
motion?
motion?
Yeah, you can amend that vote.
Okay, and we can't discuss this, can we discuss it before we do a motion, so we
Sure.
don't do this
Let's do
again? Okay. If we say, no problem, we'll pay for this, we'll waive it, and something happens out there again, is this considered the same project, or is this now going to be
I'll
a
add
different?
to that, which is, once you do it here, have you established, how do you distinguish between other communities that might come in with the same request?
Right,
You're gonna have a past
And
practice.
it can't be every time there's trash dumped in Alloway, the host community, that we do this.
You can do it based
How
on.
about insurance also? Are we, since we're paying for it, are we liable if the prisoners?
You're
Have a
liable for
problem.
anything that you do that, where something goes wrong. Doesn't matter where you do it.
Well, the county's paying them, so when the county, be liable, we're not paying them anything.
I think the prisoners have to, some kind of, they're covered by some insurance.
Yeah,
Yes.
when they perform work on our
Okay, so
behalf,
That would-
it's not a workers' comp issue or anything like that.
and
If we were to send our people over there,
Yeah.
that's.
That's
But when I say anything we do, we have the potential for exposure if we're actively involved. If all we're doing is receiving trash and giving somebody credit, I can't see any liability, but if we are actively involved in the cleanup and we have personnel there, yes, we could be.
Well, we're not actively involved. I think the proposal may be just to waive the fee.
yeah, I'm,
And I don't know if you want to do something about hours, but I'll take, unless there's board discussion, formulate a motion out of that.
I think I mean, it's $250, but I think that we have to
We're
be.
going, you can't set a precedent.
I know, I think we have to be careful about how we do the precedent, but can't we make mention that, you know, this is for a benefit of being a host community? But the problem is how often does this happen?
Well,
You
there's
could
been a
tell me
couple
more, you
formalities.
could tell me that better than I could. I mean, this,
Well, there's one in
It
Alloway.
happens across the county very frequently, especially this time of year. In Alloway, I don't think, since I've been here since 2011, we've had any issue that I've.
Yeah, the house in the lake, you said. You
Well,
mentioned.
that wasn't
That was a
debris,
little-
that was a
demo.
construction.
The other issue that you should address is what's going to keep it from happening again.
Right.
I don't know what the access is at this property, what can be done to preclude access. It is the property owner's responsibility. You can be sympathetic to the property owner, but it is the property owner's responsibility to keep his property in a certain condition. And, you know, I don't know whether the property can be chained. I don't know whether it's a matter of putting some dirt over a driveway. I just don't know, you know. I don't know how accessible it is. I
Well, they're
saw
also
a
allowed-
single railroad tie, that didn't look like much of a deterrent.
not to somebody, I agree with you. It's a slight deterrent for people during the day maybe. And I'm thinking that they must go in there after dark.
So if you are inclined to do anything as part of what you're doing, you should probably condition it upon some specifics for, you know, to
Yep.
preclude this in the future.
And also so that it's no more than, like this cleanup would be no more than $225.50, or, you know, something that would make it very specific to host community, this time, less than 250, can't exceed $250. I don't foresee us turning down Alloway as a host community for help. I don't want to say ever, but, you know, I would think that if you had an issue like it's shown in history, that we've always been able to do something. And I think that that's one of the benefits that you should be afforded as a host community, that we can help you a little bit. But I do think we have to be careful about setting precedent, for sure.
And the other issue is, you know, although you're a host community, there are distances. I mean, this, you know, one of the things that was mentioned earlier was that perhaps this has been prompted because it's
Yeah.
close proximity. You know, do you want to establish a perimeter? I mean, I'm concerned that if you do this, then somebody says, oh, okay, well, all I gotta do is dump it within this line, and, you know, the improvement authority will take care of it.
So government.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Sorry.
I feel pretty confident that we could talk to that I could talk to the homeowner, and he would take steps to block the entryway to the property. And I believe that everything you're discussing here, putting a limit on it, is what we can work with that.
So, is there any thought of demolishing the building? 'Cause
Yes, there is
That's-
by us. I haven't mentioned
Yeah,
it to him because we
that's
have
one
a
of the
list.
obligations of the municipality is to demolish buildings that are in that condition.
We have a list of buildings that need to be taken down, and if the homeowners won't take them down, we can take them down and put a lien on the property. But we're reluctant to go after that list because it costs us a bunch of money. We'll be visiting Salem County Utilities Authority with dumpsters if we do, and you know,
The Utilities Authority will welcome you with open arms.
I'm sure.
The Improvement Authority may not.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Improvement. I'd be more than happy to discuss with Mr. Smith the blocking of the driveway, and
Smith.
That's the homeowner.
Mr. Smith. His name, Don Smith owns the property, Don Smith.
Okay.
We're just trying to help our community as much as we can, and I appreciate your generosity in this matter.
And if the motion has something about Malware Station Road on it,
Well, can you do that in a separate motion, or do you want me to talk about that? What do you mean, you want to
Oh.
I
attach
don't
Mallard
think it should
Station
be
Road
in-
to that?
No, well,
That's separate.
that was the original motion, that's all.
But that went down, so we're not gonna put that in there, that's a whole other issue.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion.
Okay.
The request has been for the authority to basically absorb all of the cost and to give Alloway a credit for any expense they incur.
Up to $250.
Yeah.
Well, the 250 is the tipping fee.
What I heard the mayor ask for was that that Alloway Township receive a credit against any tipping fees for any cost they incur.
Yeah, we'll waive the tipping fees and we'll credit Alloway up to, but not exceeding $250.
Well, the 250 is for the dumpsters.
I'll second that one.
Well, I'm not sure I know what it is.
Okay. Yeah, wait, don't do it yet. Wait.
It's $250 for the
250
dumpsters.
is for the dumpsters, and
Oh,
the
plus the
disposal fee is what we're, the township will supply 2 40-yard dumpsters, so that's not on us. So
But they're
they just want the
asking
tipping
credit
fee.
for the-
They
No, they're
just want
asking
the
you to credit.
tipping fee.
Done
Yeah, they
before
want
that.
it all on the authority,
We want you to pay for
everything.
everything. In other words,
That's what I
you
said.
misunderstood.
But it
Waive
says-
the tipping.
Because it doesn't say
It says
that.
the township will supply 2 40-yard dumpsters,
Yeah, well, it was the way.
Yeah.
provided by Red Oak at a
And
great price.
as you continue reading down in the memo, I don't know if you have that.
Well, yeah, it says it's asking SCIA
Yeah.
to waive the tipping fee and credit Alloway against tipping fees.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It doesn't say anything about the
yeah,
dumpster.
so,
Well,
All costs.
it meant all costs. Just credit us whatever we spent.
lunch for the prisoners?
Yeah.
What dumpsters cost? What's the price of those dumpsters?
125,
July provide lunch.
125,
Oh, no.
124.50. I'm sorry. So really, cap it at $250 if you want for the dumpsters, plus waiving the tipping fees on the dumpsters.
Let me make a suggestion. If you do this entirely on the part of the improvement authority, what is the incentive either by the homeowner or the township to cooperate in the future and take action to, not have this happen in the future?
Well, we'll be working with Alloway, and they will ensure that it doesn't happen in the future, and that'll be enforced in the motion.
I apologize, I have to leave.
Thank you.
See ya. I don't see a problem with waiving tipping fees, but I do see a problem with buying dumpsters, renting dumpsters. Just because it's not, this has nothing to do with us. We'll take your garbage and we'll credit you back because you're our host community, but I don't see how we could actually, I think that would be the worst precedent of all, is to set that. Because any township could come and say, hey, we need you to pay for our dumpsters. So.
Even townships that have nothing to do with the dump being in their community, they're not a host community. I wouldn't be here if the dump wasn't in my community and the thing wasn't right over there.
Well, but if we do this, who's to say that there isn't going to be a different township that's going to come in and say, hey, you did this with Alloway, and then we'll say, well, they're host communities, and they're going to say, I don't care. I pay, we send our garbage here.
You're also getting ready to negotiate your host community benefit.
Right.
This would look good if you helped us out.
That's not a good way to start.
I'm trying to help you out, we just can't pay for the whole thing.
We just feel like good neighbors work with each other.
Well, I totally agree, but you kind of yelled at us for putting something across there so nobody could get there, and I thought that we were kind of helping you. Well, you said, well, I guess you own it, you put it there.
No, I said, by the emails, I take it that Melinda is, or I don't mean to mention it, but was assuming some responsibility by trying to take and orchestrate this cleanup. So I looked at it like, they're accepting some responsibility here, let's just get it done.
So now help becomes responsibility.
Right, we're trying to help you out.
Well, as an attorney, that's probably how you would go after it if you were on the other side.
If she actually put the railroad tie there, I'd agree with you.
By yourself?
Yep.
The fact that she sent employees to do it,
Here's the.
Well, I didn't know that. If she did, then maybe you're right.
the
Yeah.
guy behind you will tell you that.
Yeah.
Stop it from
What,
happening.
how can we work this out? I'm not,
Have a motion?
Oh, good lord.
You have a motion?
Okay.
Have a motion?
I already made my motion.
You got a shot there.
I'll be willing to take out the lien part and resubmit my motion again.
What is the cost of the tipping fees for 2 dumpsters?
I have
Can
no
you tell me
idea.
that?
How much,
It's gonna be based on
how
the
many
weight
tons
of
is it?
the trash.
It could be,
Like the electronics can't be put in the dumpsters.
They're 20-yard bins and,
well, what you're seeing is a shell of the TV.
But
It's smashed
we'd
out.
still put it.
Yeah, it can't
Even
go
the shell, the
yeah.
plastic shell,
Yep.
with no electronic, okay. I mean, that's a,
plastic.
That's good.
so that can't go in the dumpster?
Recycle as much as you can as possible.
So we need a third, container? Is that what you're
There's still
saying?
one.
No,
Yeah.
we'll put that on top of the container when it comes in, we'll pull it off the top just like we do in tires.
What I'm
Will you
getting
be
at,
filling 2
what's the
bins at one
estimate?
time?
I mean,
I
how much
haven't,
money are they talking about?
it'll be up
How
to
many
the
tons
sheriff's
is that?
department.
it's
I
not
can't
that
see
much.
two
Fill one, dump
dumpsters.
one, and go take it back. It's another.
It'll probably be one dumpster at a time. I'm guessing.
Okay, and you'll take care of the cost of the dumpsters, and we'll take care of the tipping
Tipping
fees.
fees?
Yeah. Now, let me ask a question.
Oh, Lord.
I gotta know.
If it takes more than 2 dumpsters, we still waive the tipping fees on that one project, no other? Because I'm the guy that went out there and estimated, I think we can get this in 2
Oh,
dumpsters.
so your head's on the chopping block.
Well, I mean,
Well, can you assure us it's only gonna be that, and not the building?
I guarantee you that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so we can, our motion will be to.
Now, you did see
What was
paneling and
pictured,
sheetrock.
and we'll have to match up each,
It's there, everything on the picture.
Okay,
Not half as much.
okay.
except the house.
You'll waive the tipping fees, basically. Is that where we're headed?
That's the motion, is to waive the
And you
tipping
pick up
fees.
the dumpsters. And that's
As,
a motion.
and that's a motion.
Have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion?
You got that, or you want it
Oh,
restated?
Lord,
Let's
okay.
restate it.
I move, the motion is,
Somebody stated
Yeah.
the motion is that we agree to work on this project with our host community, and waive the tipping fees for all trash resulting from this project. Just this project,
Do we have a block and lot?
Let me say this. part.
Yes.
this property.
Now, do you want
Is
it
it
now?
on here?
Yeah, I would
On
say.
block five,
I'm
block
working
five,
from
lot
memory
14.
here,
Block
sir.
five.
Block five, lot
Block 14, and then.
And
got
it's
it.
203 Welchville Road.
Oh, you have the memo, it said, I just read it right off the memo.
Yeah.
Okay, so tipping fees are on the township, or no, the bins are on, dumpsters are on the township, tipping fees are on us. We have a motion, second. All in favor?
Okay, yes.
Opposed? Okay.
All right.
Now we go to correspondence. Right now. Anything of,
Just two notations for the board. We have received from the DEP the initial notice of violation for the 2013 Title V air permitting delayed recordings. That is they affirmatively, without even request or assertion, provided a discount on that violation, bringing the, let me get it back here, the cost to the improvement authority down.
Oh, it's in there.
Yeah, from, that's the original.
Okay, there's one.
My recollection is the total fines are somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 and about, they be able to compromise it by about a third, I think.
One went from 12 to 9.
Yeah. And went to 5,200.
penalty calculation?
Here we go. Here's that one.
That's the first one.
And then here's the second one.
The penalty calculation, no, these were from the,
There we go.
I don't know, no, that's the administrative consent order, that's already done. Fines evaluation summary, I'm sorry, which was the water inspection, carries with it no financial penalty, that was just the two notations that we failed to submit the DNR for alcohol free for March of 2013 for the monitoring period, and operations maintenance meeting, that there was no penalty associated with the water penalty. The one that I'm speaking of is this one here, penalty calculation from Donna Summers. This is the 2013 deviation reporting for calendar year 2013 for the first quarter, I'm sorry, the first half of the year, the second half of the year, in the annual certification. The original
This is
penalty
the
was
paperwork violation.
$3,000. The settlement offered by the DEP is $2,250, which is a 25% reduction.
Amazing how they-
And this is not on light bulbs.
This is not, absolutely not.
I had a question on that. Do we budget for penalties? I mean, that's a change.
She said that, it's part of the inspection, that's what you said last year.
It should be because they target landfills.
Yeah, I mean,
For
Well, they have to
instance,
fund their agencies.
I know, I know.
we don't prospectively budget for them. However, when we know that there is a potential penalty sitting out there, for instance, the very first one that we had back in
Right.
2011, and we did appeal it, and we knew it was going to carry into the next year, that next year we did budget for that amount of the penalty, because we knew that it was,
that was
back in
one.
that. But no, we don't carry a 5% extra or something. Those were the only two notations in correspondence that I wrote on the attention.
Okay. Any other questions on correspondence? Hearing none, I'll open the session to the public. Is there any public?
I already heard from him. He's been here from me. Mauer Station Road, you seem to have a concern with Mauer Station Road. We closed that road because some of the drainage problems along the road have been caused by trucks actually widening the road and filling in the ditches. That was part of the problem. And
Do you have an engineer's report on that? We got an
we don't need
assumption.
an engineer's report.
That's an assumption?
No, it's not an assumption. It was deemed by our Public Works Chairman and Director. I
Is
mean,
he an engineer?
He doesn't need to be an engineer.
But we're taking care of that. We're taking care of.
Yeah, they're gonna discuss it, meet with it, discuss it, but as far as signage goes, it met all MUA standards of signage that we use. That's all. I received a phone call actually from Melinda, just happened to be in the office where she wanted to, do some maintenance to the road, and when I talked to our Public Works Director, he said no maintenance had been done to the road since our Public Works did it. So there's an issue that I think we can resolve. However, as host community, we would think that that's part of being a good neighbor. For instance, if you're my neighbor and I let you drive across my property and we have an agreement, like we have with SCIA here, and I feel as though you're not treating my property correctly, I would think I have the right to ask you not to drive across that.
And I don't have a lot of confidence in somebody, that's not qualified to say something's damaged. Would have helped with, an engineer's report. But, that being said, we would take care of any problems that we would cause. And then you gotta realize we're running a multi-million-dollar operation here. And all you had to do is pick up the phone and say you had a problem. And we would have had our engineers there taking care of business, not closing
Let
the
me
road.
help you with that.
Okay.
We don't spend, I try not to spend any more money than I have to with engineers, because certified doesn't mean qualified. We spend more of our taxpayers' money fixing stuff than engineers screw up, because they won't stand behind their decisions. So that's why an engineer hasn't been out there, because we want to try to spend our taxpayers' money more wisely than to just feed a.
Well, like I just said, if you would call us up, we would have had our engineers out there, and, the question would
Well,
have been
how
answered.
many times have we talked back and forth and the road didn't change?
I hadn't heard about Mowers earlier. I've only been here a few months. Actually, a year and a half.
Well, it was the landfill calling us and saying, hey, is it okay if we do this? Sure, go ahead and do it. Then nothing happens. Come on.
Actually, Mayor.
How would that work if you called me and said, I made some ruts in your yard, I'm gonna take care of it. I took care of it. You go out there, they're still there. No, you can't drive
All
there
I got to
anymore.
say is you got bad information, because we do work on that road.
Well,
Well, that's
working on
another
it
thing
and
too,
making
it's
it,
our
bring,
road.
the thing is, working on it and bringing it back to standard is two different things. So let's let these guys, the professionals, work it out, and that's where it is. And we would really like to see these negotiations move along as though you're serious about Alway. Sometimes, I mean, how many years this has been going on, and now we just keep hearing it's going to be a few more months. It's going to be a few more months. Our constituents don't want to hear about a few more months.
Speaking from the past, every time you made a request to us, we've given you a counter proposal, every time.
Okay. Yes, your proposals were $0. It's like,
Right.
we're proposing that we take this shell game and we just keep moving the shells around. Okay, they're different. What do you think?
What do you mean by $0? What are you referring to?
Everything you offered us was not doing anything for us. We had to pay to come here. It cost us the same amount of money to run our convenience center as what you wanted us to pay you to have our convenience center here. There was no savings at all for Alway Township.
Well, there would have
And
been.
honestly, I don't even want to talk about that because that's water over the dam.
Okay.
We're in a new, we got a new, but we would like to be taken seriously. And sometimes we feel as though we're not. From one month to the next, nothing's happening.
Have you had
This is
Oh.
progress.
Well, we talked a month ago at an executive committee meeting that we were gonna work on this when the budget came up.
I have trouble comprehending how you can't make a decision now and put it in the budget. We're making decisions on change orders and everything else that,
We're
So
not
far.
actually asking for money, we're actually asking for a decision to be made on what the agreement will be.
yeah, we
Whether
don't need
whether
a
the
check
agreement
today.
starts in November or December or January.
Well, it won't happen tonight.
What's your name, man?
Well, my name is Beth Riley.
Committee woman.
Committee woman. But, well, you know, we're not asking to walk out of here with a check. We just want to know when,
Is it in your budget, what is paid now?
Yes.
I looked online and I looked up your budget, and I didn't see any host community benefit on revenue. Should your residents know that you get host community
it's
benefit?
absolutely in
No?
our budget.
It's in it.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah,
It's not
really,
only a
what we
one-person.
need from you is for us to be able to tell our community what we're looking forward to. We don't need it. We wondered if maybe there was some confusion as to whether we're looking to walk out of here with a check or not, which really we're not. We're looking to be able to tell them something.
We've come,
For years, how are we making out with the landfill? No news.
this is since 2009, when Ed Masker was mayor.
When did the actual contract, when was it up there?
It's
12?
not,
No, I know, but what does it say on the front cover? I mean, it's ongoing, I mean, it's,
agreement that was done back before the landfill was.
right, so it's the same agreement, so we use the same agreement.
Right.
I don't foresee that changing. All you're talking about is a different pay schedule.
Correct.
So you are talking about money in a check, and it's real hard for us to be able to say, okay, we're gonna give you X amount of dollars when we don't know what the revenue is for our landfill. And
Yet, this board here can write a check for $21,000 every month for office space in the basement of a building.
that with budgeted
With
amount, we're not,
people.
but that's a different issue, Beth. I mean, it's a totally different issue.
I know.
And we budget for that, and we budget for Alloway. But we budget based on what our revenues are going to be.
Absolutely.
And we can't foresee what our revenues are going to be till we get closer to the end of the year, and then we're going to see what we can do that way. But, you know, based on the correspondence, there has been quite a bit of back and forth. It's not like they didn't take you seriously at all, it's just that I don't think you really liked what they said. And we're gonna get to a point where we'll lock you in a room, lock us all in a room so we can get it straightened out. But it is a negotiation. And, you know, nobody doesn't take you guys seriously, for sure.
Well, you guys don't have to look at the mountain that we look at every day. And we will have to look at for every day, forever. Because we had clay.
I just got one thing. On him said we're not doing anything about that road. Can you comment on that?
Can I just
Yeah.
correct the record a little bit? Mayor, when Linda contacted, I believe, Ken, the works manager, about doing some ditch maintenance. Okay? That was after a site visit that I personally participated in with Ludy and Melinda, our engineers, and also the county road department at that time, because there was sheet flow of water. That's when it first became apparent. There was sheet flow of water coming across that road onto our property, affecting our new road. It was not our intention at that point in time to do a full road maintenance, if that was what was communicated to you. I apologize. All that was to be communicated to you was that there were two areas where, I will call it the berm on both sides of the road, had been disturbed, whether it was by water, whether it was by truck traffic, whether it was by other people. It was very specific targeted areas. It wasn't the whole line. Those areas, we asked to have them open back up. We did do that work in those two areas, because what that did is it created the opportunity for the water on the other side of Mauer Station Road to stay over there, and then only be channeled under through that little culvert. That work was done. I've also confirmed with Pearson.
It looks like it's gone.
That's why we're gonna go out and take a look at it again. You know, everybody sets of eyes. because if it has widened because of the truck traffic, then those ditches probably still do need to be maintained, okay? We are, and I did verify, I was out there the other day, still getting sheet flow of water on rainy days under, through the culvert, and from that farm field, that's coming across the top of the road, okay? That's causing us a problem. We're spending money to handle a water problem that technically isn't ours, but once
the
it's on
ditch-
our
the
site,
ditches, there's no ditch there now for that water to run into.
it didn't matter. That water runs into the ditch and it comes under the culvert. It comes to our property
All
anyway because of
property
the
owners
culvert.
deal with that. I have water off the county road, runs across my property. And when they redid the road, it made it worse. They took some of my dirt, moved it, now I got more county water on my, so it's just
Yeah.
it's
I
something we
just
all
didn't
have
want
to
the
deal with.
impression that there was no work done to maintain those ditches when two particular targeted areas were definitely reopened. There definitely was at that point in time.
Okay,
That's what we're looking
we're having trouble seeing that evidence at this point.
That's why you need an engineer.
Well, they'll be there on Monday.
Engineers' eyes are
And
different.
that's why we-
My- Our engineer will be there on Monday.
But as I stated, it'll be done to the satisfaction of our township. Or we will do it. I'm not trying to play hardball, it's just, you celebrate. You know what it's like when the trucks are running over there every day.
And
And
we
the
utilize that
bulldozer
road.
going out there, the bulldozer back dragging it, pushing, it just keeps getting wider.
That's-
There's no crown to it, so that the water runs off the road into the ditches.
Do the trucks ride on the other side of the railroad tracks?
No,
That's not a very good road either.
no, it's not real good, but it's better than missing it.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Are you done? Yes.
I just want to come over here. I don't want to be rude and not face anybody. I just think that's so horrible. Hello, little TV. My name's Ann Sullivan.
Hey, on TV.
I know. And I am the municipal coordinator for Alloway Township for Clean Communities. And I don't want to take the hit, but I want to also say if there's been any miscommunication, I want to apologize because I got emails and stuff from Sean Henderson of the Health Department saying, Melinda wants me to do this, Melinda wants me to do this, and I just kind of felt crushed that Melinda didn't call me directly. So I was going through Sean and I was waiting for his photograph. So I didn't get much help from there, so I went out there, and those are my photographs. And I don't have any ticks to show you because I covered up all my legs. But I went out there, and I kind of did what I could do for my Clean Communities section. And I double-checked with my Debbie Turner-Fox, my executive director, because I knew it was public property, and I don't want to jeopardize my $10,000. I love my groups, I love my Boy Scouts, I love my convicts. And from a liability point of view, I can't put any of my volunteers on private property. And I just double-checked with my executive director, and she said, I am confirming the conversation that Clean Communities funds, again, Pittsgrove, you're a great big community, you've got wonderful volunteers, Barbara Lowry does a fabulous job, and go get them, Pittsgrove. But Alloway, I've got little Boy Scouts, and I've got little Girl Scouts, and I got tinier brownies, so I'm not too sure about that group. But she was very clear that it was unallowable for me to use my money on, this was obviously way off the road. So that's kind of, I want to take the hit on that one. And number two, back to the Clean Communities money, we did get our money, it was really exciting, and we opened up our budget and we put in my $10,000 budget. Melinda got about a $101,923,000, about $102,000. So how do you, this is my question, because I'm always interested in budgets, if you've got your existing budget for 2014 and in it says $93,000, how do you accept that check?
Same way we do any other check.
So what do you do with the balance of over the $93,000? What do you do with the other?
If it goes in and it's over, then we will amend the budget subsequent to the receipt of that information.
So you amend
Like
the
a chapter 159, just the same way the township.
So you do change, you accept the money?
If we would, yeah.
Okay, cool, that's wonderful. So I just
We
say,
know about what it's going to be every year.
Approximately, you kind of hope.
It's
I mean,
rarely
budgeted.
ever been less than 93.
right.
Sometimes there's extra, sometimes there's not.
I know, it was so exciting, she got so much more money, Salem County did such a great job. So I was just very excited that the county got that much money, and I used my $10,000 for public property and roadside cleanups and education and T-shirts and things like
Yes,
that.
we had in our bill list 27 roadside cleanups in this month's.
On county roads, isn't that great? It's a great program, it's really wonderful. But it's the liability. When I spoke to my person, I said, Melinda seemed to think that, you know, I could use my money. And I said, I'm a little uncomfortable with that because I was pretty sure it's for public property. And she said, it's a liability. We can't have anyone. They're very concerned about liability. So thank you very much. And as she said, part of the program with Clean Communities, it's always room for improvement. So we're always trying to do a good job. So when you go by, pick up that can and recycle. And we do a lot more recycling. When you get the garbage, we also recycle a lot too. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Any other public comment?
One more. I want to thank you. I don't want to leave here with anybody feeling like animosity toward each other over this stuff. It's, I'm just trying to represent our
Well,
township the
thanks
best
for
way I
bringing
can.
your concern to us.
Yes, and thank you. Thank you for, I know you guys get paid a lot of money to do this. And,
That's a desperate call.
yeah, the double overtime and all that, so, thank you.
We do.
Any other business for the authority?
I just got one question for, let's say with those rails or whatever we put out there, if somebody goes out there and walks them, are we responsible?
Conceivably,
We need to get rid of them there.
anytime you volunteer, anytime you step out, anytime you do something, you're possibly at risk. That's why we have insurance.
The percentage would be low though, wouldn't it?
Very low.
They would have come.
But it still needs to be
If you
done.
put them in the middle of the road, in the middle of the night,
Approved
you might have
process.
some exposure.
They're well off the road, off the right of way.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Any other business? The meeting's adjourned.